Massive, massive, massive news for Pulsechain, for Hex, for Richard Hart. It is massive for you out in the community. This is gigantic news. So it is really, really big. It's going to be wonderful to see how Pulsechain performs from now on. Now, sometimes with these wins, we can see a little bit of a bounce, then a little bit of a cooling off, and then suddenly a runaway, right? So that could definitely happen. We may see it just continue to run and re-ramp and revalue past the mean sacrifice price, maybe go 2-3x even. So there's a couple of scenarios there. Obviously, the climate in the world's a little bit shaky. Just while Trump's reorganizing things, we've got tariffs next week coming in place. So there's different things going on. And of course, we've got Bitcoin reaching maybe fair value at the moment, given the monetary supply and the momentum around there. So, but things are looking better for March for sure. So March is definitely looking better for money for Pulsechain. So bring it on. And of course, we've got that cycle as well in the crypto market. So, man, huge news today, massive news. We're going to briefly cover it, and we might look at some of the brief conclusions. We're going to check out Nuclear Herbs. There's a lawyer commentator on that. We're going to check out Richard Hart's comments recently. We're going to look at the results on Pulsechain straight up. So we're starting off with this news straight away, and then we're going to get into, obviously, Signum Oracle is launched as Imminent. We're going to give a little update on that. Of course, that's going to open the floodgates to a lot of Jacob's projects, the best peer-to-peer dev in the world, PUSD, ALGO, Pulse, Mafia, all that sort of stuff. And then we're going to go back and cover the stock market, which had a great result on the inflation news today. And of course, we're going to get into crypto, which has kind of cooled off with the sell-off, which is nice to see, and maybe around fair value at this stage. And then get into TitanX, which had a pump, and then had a slightly sell-off on the TitanX, probably because of the Pulsechain news. And remember, there's a lot of shared investors, on both sides of the aisle, as it were. So pretty cool. Now, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button right now, and hit that bell there as well for future videos. As you guys know, we're doing daily videos on crypto, and we're also covering a lot of other stuff in the world, politics, economics, sports, and everything else as well. So get in there, smash the like button, hit the bell. Now, if you haven't joined our strategy club, the link is in the video description. Only $35 a month to join that. Get all the intel as we get it into that, and keeps flowing. So if you're really busy, the strategy club is definitely worth joining. So join up today for that. All right, so let's get in. We've got a couple of comments here before we get into the live stream. Red Squirrel came in nice and easy, snuck in nice and easy early there. Good to see a Red Squirrel again. And of course, if you haven't checked out the listener, that has got the full details of the victory there, the court case dismissal. So that link is right there for you. You can go and open it up in your own computer. Very, very cool. All right, so let's jump over to Lies Beneath. How are you today? Very, very good. Great to see you in the house there, Lies Beneath. Big shout out to you. Always appreciate everything you've done for the channel. 100%. Yeah, let's go. Hex, Pulse, PulseX, and Incentive Tokens. 100% there. Big shout out to you. Excavator in the USA. Excited about the result as well. Woo! Get excited. I mean, it is incredible result today. And of course, we had a 75% confidence. I think that was pretty fair. And it's turned out to be 100%. So that's fantastic news. Yeah, and well-deserved of the Rockets for sure. Says Lies Beneath. Yeah, pump our bags. More wealth is in the house as well. We won. Glory, glory, glory. Absolutely. Man, I really love those flames. It's a fantastic result, More Wealth, and great to see you back in the chat again as well. ALGO, yeah, we're going to be covering PUSD ALGO with obviously the Signum Oracle. That is a prerequisite. So we're very excited about that. I'm going to have an interview with the founder, Stu, once that's up and running. And he's also going to do a demo. So you want to check that out because that could be huge too. Another form of making revenue if you want to set up a Oracle reporter. That's coming up too. We got Brennan, our TA guru in the house there. Let's go. Nuclear Herbs. There's some good comments as well on the K Super. Yeah, definitely be covering some of those. Big shout out there, Brennan, and congratulations. Hedgehog in the house as well. Woohoo! Getting excited. Good to see you as well. And that means if Hedgehog is around and Brian is here, our community leader. Big shout out to Brian for everything he does in the community. Can't say enough about how awesome Brian is. And not only in our community in Discord, but you'll meet him there if you join up, but also in life. He really does help a lot of people, and it is a beautiful thing. So big shout out to you, Brian. I really do appreciate it. Brian says, I never had a doubt, just saying, about the victory there. Yeah, you were pretty confident, and so it's turned out to be true. Friedman in the house as well. Whoop, whoop. Congrats to all holders. Our time is now. Yeah, there's really nothing holding back. Now, obviously, there's a red notice, but that's really, with regards to Richard, and he's going to manage that, of course. The community is also reaching out to try and get that pulled down because it really was an SEC ploy, right? to try and pin down Richard outside the case because they knew they were going to lose, right? So a bit of a dirty tactic, and we may see that go away as well after this case. So keep it, that be something we'll look out for as well. But in terms of Pulsechain, well done, everybody. It's free reign. We're going to talk about that. Now, there is a little open door for the SEC, but I think that's going to be pretty much closed with the new administration, which is closing down a lot of court cases. We've seen that, XRP, Coinbase, and things like that. So I'm feeling good there. Crypto Coin House there. Hello. Good to see you as well. And we've got Brian there with the link there. So if you want to join up to the Strategy Club, $35 a month. You can join our standard Discord as well. That is only $5 a month as well. So you decide there. But join up today. Check it out today. Go and hit that link as well. We got Aussie Stone in house there. Shout out to all the diamond hands. That's right. You've had to have diamond hands because it's been hundreds of days, isn't it, since Pulsechain's launched. So that's definitely the case there. But you guys who have been faithful and true, you've managed to get to the end. And man, what a satisfying victory. And who knows what other things Richard Hart's got up his sleeve now. I'm sure he's feeling very good about this and is going to be, parting, I'm sure. So that's very exciting. All right, without further ado, shall we get into it? Let's get into the result here from the court. So let's jump into there. And here we are. There is the United States District Court, Eastern District of New York. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, is the plaintiff against Richard J. Schuller, a.k.a. Richard Hart, Hex, Pulsechain, and PulseX. I always thought, the case against Hex, Pulsechain, and PulseX was rather bizarre and ridiculous. But hey, and they are the defendants, right? They're the defendants there. So the plaintiff is the SEC, the defendant is Richard Hart, Pulsechain, Hex, and PulseX. Just mind-boggling. And of course, Amon is the United States District Judge. So there we go. Now, the introduction, we're just going to read this quick bit here. The plaintiff, the SEC, brought into action against defendants Richard Hart and Hex, Pulsechain, PulseX. The SEC alleges that Hart violated the Securities Act of 1933. Is anyone alive from then? Just let us know in the chat if you were alive in 1933. And the SEC Securities Exchange Act of 1934 by promoting, offering, and selling unregistered crypto asset securities and defrauding investors by misappropriating investor funds. Now, obviously, Richard Hart used a very unique sacrifice model, including the Howey test and getting legal opinions and all sorts of stuff before this was ever even put on the planet. So that was kind of the play, and also did audits as well. So Richard Hart he really broke ground in crypto, as you guys know if you'd been around in December 2019, and of course the year and a half before that. We've got pursuant to rules of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, Hart moves to dismiss all claims. So this is what Richard Hart did. He got the dream team of lawyers, including some of the ones that Elon Musk has, to do the case. And for people that witnessed that case, it was fantastic. And the transcripts came out of it were fantastic. That gave us an exciting 75% chance of winning. So Hart moves to dismiss all claims, both for lack of personal jurisdiction and for failure to state a claim. And the court there said, for the reasons stated below, that's the rest of the court document, the motion to dismiss is granted. So woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! You can't get bigger than that, and it's nice capitalized bolded font there. So if you didn't believe it, it's there right in front of your face. Pretty crazy there. Now we've got this little note here too. The SEC failed to respond to Hart's challenge to the SEC purported ALGO ego theory regarding Hex, Pulsechain, and PulseX. At an oral argument, the SEC considered that it failed to respond to this argument, that the alter ego claims were not part of this theory for why the court would have his personal jurisdiction. I therefore find that the SEC chose to abandon any arguments could have made regarding the alleged alter ego entities. That's pretty interesting. The court may and will generally deem a claim abandoned when the plaintiff fails to respond to the defense argument that the claim should be dismissed. That was a beautiful thing. We remember that, don't we? That was fantastic. So fantastic news there. Now, we got some more comments here. We got truck in the house there. Yes, sir. Absolutely. And we got Brennan there with excited with those emojis. I like the look of those. Woohoo! Those are channel emojis. If you haven't become a YouTube member, you can become one of those as well as a Discord member, and you get access to those cool emojis. We got Brian says putting an end to lawfare. Yeah, 100% the SEC. So I'm not expecting that to happen there. Brennan said the Trump effect, baby. The Trump effect. Indeed. Now, we're going to be talking about Trump a bit later, so hold on to your hat for that. So that is where we were there. So that is pretty much it. And then the rest of it gives the background. So we've got the background here, so we're going to flow through all that because, we've covered the background many times before. and then moving forward into the document and move up to where we're going here, just to make sure I haven't got too far here. Pulsechain, I think we covered all that. We're going to move up here on page 8. And so we've got all the different claims there, and then we have a review, the standard for review. So that's the next section. So we have the actual claim. We've gone through that many times, but then we have the standard review. That's what is required to meet the standard for the SEC to win, basically, or for Richard Hart to be able to defeat the motion. So to defeat the motion to dismiss for lack of personal jurisdiction, the plaintiff needs to only have a prima facie showing that jurisdiction exists. So that is kind of the standard, and there's 2 standards there. And so those are the ones that had to be met. And then, of course, the judge has the discussion about the claims and the evidence, right? So he has personal jurisdiction there. So that was the first one. And, of course, the judge there pretty much, pretty much all points, shot them all down. So because the SEC must establish this court jurisdiction with respect to the unregistered security claims and the Pulsechain fraud claims, I addressed each of these claims in turn. So it goes through all of those as well. And we're just going to scroll down here a bit. So after the judge discussed those, accordingly, I find the Hart's participation in the virtual conferences and his personal in-person interviews are not relevant contacts that could subject Hart to liability for the alleged offer and sale of Hart's crypto assets. So one after another, the SEC case is being smashed down by the judge there, which is pretty awesome. So and of course it keeps going on there. We're going to scroll. It keeps going down. So basically, that is it's got all the different things here. Hart social media statements, fear no better. Hart claimed on YouTube. So it's got going through some of his comments that Richard Hart made. In summary, I felt the relevant online communications described in the complaint during the offer periods consist of untargeted, globally available information. The SEC failed to plead sufficient facts to assess Richard Hart's online statements were purposely directed to the forum rather than a global audience. So there we go, another one there. So one after another, it gets pulled down. Because Hart did not engage in substantial suit-related conduct in or directed at the United States in connection with the offer, the sale of Hart's crypto assets, I find that Hart does not have sufficient contacts with the United States for specific jurisdiction. Since I conclude the minimum contacts lacking, I need not to determine whether exercising personal jurisdiction over Hart for the unregistered security claims would satisfy the Fifth Amendment's reasonableness requirement. So one after another, it's pretty much gets shot down. So pretty cool. Accordingly, I focus on the relations of Hart, the forum, and Hart's suit-related contact points to the conclusion that there's no specific personal jurisdiction over Hart for the Pulsechain fraud claims in the case. It just goes on and on and on. And so that is it's 31 pages long, this document. And so we're going to scroll down here a little bit here. I posted the link there so you can read the full document. We're just sort of going through a few of the highlights here. We're going to scroll down there. Let's go there. It says, I acknowledge the Second Circuit's concern that transactions on digital exchange cannot occur out of nowhere. Occurred nowhere, but as alleged, I cannot reasonably infer that these transactions occurred in the United States. According to the SEC, has failed to adequately allege domestic transactions for this, which we always found to be quite a weak issue there. They pretty much pinned their whole hopes on one person involved in Pulsechain in New York, and it was kind of pretty weak, really. So then we got another one, Office of Security Claims. That would probably be the better one that they had. But here it says SEC has failed to show that Hart made domestic offers of Hart's crypto assets, which is pretty interesting. And that would be a pretty good read there as well. So that would be pretty neat there. Pulsechain fraud claims. We're moving on to there. The SEC also fails to satisfy this FX test. The complaint alleges that some investors in the US deposited crypto assets during the Pulsechain offer period. This fails to show that the alleged fraud had a substantial effect on the United States. And so the court has no information regarding the percentage of the defendant's shares that were owned by the United States investors, and therefore cannot find the fraud would have had a substantial effect on the United States or United States citizens. So really, it was really falling apart here. Flowing through some of those. For the reasons discussed above, I find the SEC has failed to state a claim for its Pulsechain fraud claims. etc. So then it gets us down to page 31, leave to amend. Now this is the little door that's left open for the SEC should they choose to pursue it. And of course, after losing this case, the SEC asked should I grant Hart's motion, I grant the SEC leave to amend the complaint. The court should freely give leave when justice so requires. This is a liberal and permissive standard that is consistent with our strong preference for resolving disputes on the merits. And of course, if the SEC believes in good faith that it can amend the complaint to remedy the deficiencies identified herein, any such amendment complaint must be filed within 20 days. So 20 days from the 28th, 20 days. So there we go, a little window there. But like I say, I'd be very surprised, given how weak this case, that they'd pursue that, and also very surprised, given the new administration in SEC, that weak cases like this is probably one of their weak cases get dropped altogether, given the fact that they've got some bigger cases that they've recently dropped and left. So they're moving away from lawfare and the new SEC administration under Trump, and moving towards clarity and clear regulations and following the law rather than making up their own laws, right? So the conclusion: for the reasons set forth, Hart motions to dismiss is granted. So ordered there the 28th of February in Brooklyn, New York, by Carol Bagley Amon, United States District Judge there. So voila, pretty awesome. Now you can go through and read the whole thing. The link is in the video in the chat there as well. So pretty exciting, that one. All right. So how did the Pulsechain respond? I guess it's our next question. Well, you can see the charts here. You can see the tables. So let's see if we've got any more comments. Tortoise Johnny in the house there. Victory. Absolutely. I like your little picture there too. Tortoise Johnny. That's pretty badass tortoise. Pretty badass tortoise there. Thumbs up for Judge Carroll, says Brendan. Absolutely. That is fantastic news. Brilliant. All right, so let's go to Pulsechain, day 658. Man, look at this results. Woo-hoo-hoo. We're up 15.6% on Pulse. It was up even higher before, by the way. So obviously when it pops up, there's always going to be someone to dump down. You know how they like to rain on the parade. But that's so all good, because typically we might see actually that the price continues to rise and has a rally over the week ahead, rather than have a bit of a pump and dump and then rally later on when people are least expecting it. So at the moment, Quadruple 0418 down, up 15%, 42% of the main sacrifice price. I'm pretty sure that was at 5,000 earlier on the old chart there. Pulsex at the moment is at Quadruple 0377. Actually, that is pretty good. Let me make sure I'm on that screen. Yeah, I've got to remember, Brian, today to use my full screen for the charts, by the way. We've got Pulsex at the moment, Quadruple 0377, up 33%, which is fantastic. And of course, the buy and burn at 1.29 trillion, 6.5% almost bought up and burned. And the Pulse price there is sitting at just under 38% of the main sacrifice price. So there's a lot of value, folks. A lot of value in Pulsechain to be had. You just got to have a bit of patience. And now that you got this court case out of the way, how much money will come back over the bridge? That's going to be really something interesting over the next week, particularly next 48 hours, perhaps. Incentive token, $2.64. $2.62, up 41.6%. Like a boss, this is performing extremely well there. And that's at 63,500 pulse ratio. What were we at yesterday? 52,000. So we're up a lot there, almost 11,500 or something. The incentive token, 55 million. Remember, inflation's been cut by 20x, so we're only got 5% inflation on there. So that's hardly going to grow at all, relatively now. And Hex there at 1.25 penny, up 25%. EHEX at 3,400th of a penny. Combined price EHEX and PX there at 1.6 cents. So pretty awesome there on the Pulsechain. So Pulsechain responding pretty early. It was even better before, by the way, before the live stream. But that's where we are. Look at the gas prices. Now, the gas prices are really stumped. They're 55 million. Get out of here. Get out of here. 55 million. What the fudge? 55 million. That's some crazy stuff right now. Come on, guys. You got to admit that is crazy. Sandy Beach says great news today. Absolutely great news. And a big shout out there from Sandy Beach as well, one of our moderators. You got to be hanging around a bit more, Sandy. We miss you. We'll miss you. It's good to see that you're back after all the stuff you've been through. But big heart out to Sandy Beach there in the chat. It's a bit like having royalty in the house, isn't it, Sandy? A bit like having royalty. We got Umana in the house there. Congrats, Pulsechain. Absolutely fantastic news, isn't it? Fantastic news. So pretty cool. Sandy Beach says, oh, yes, well, we got a new brand now. So the show is broadened out. We do crypto daily, but we're also covering a lot of other topics, politics and sports and things. And now it's called the Kryptonite Show with your host, Suitman. So that's the new brand there. We're streaming to 3 channels. It's going to be 4 channels soon. That's a new news there. Going to be 4 channels soon, so we might be growing by about another 3,000 subscribers. So that's a little secret sauce. I didn't even tell Brian that. I didn't tell Brian. It's boss. It's boss, says Brian. Brian says it's boss. Yeah. Superman is still the online moniker there for the brand. So big shout out there. And we got more stuff coming down the line as well. Yeah. All right, so look at that gas price, 55.4 million. That's crazy. 90 cents for a Pulse X swap at the moment. Almost 20,000 Pulse. That's kind of insane. And we've got we're actually slightly more expensive than well, it says here cheaper. We're 0.92%. I thought we were underneath. We're 0.9%. Yeah, basically cheaper than Ethereum. So Ethereum at one Gwei, which is insane, right? That's insane. So some crazy stuff happening over on Pulsechain right now with this news. And you're seeing it live. This is going to be recorded history, by the way, this live stream. I don't know if anyone else in the Pulsechain community happens to be streaming at the moment, but it's going to be record history here on this channel at least. 47,172 validators at the moment. And let's have a look at the bridge. This is the one you're going to watch in the week ahead, in the months ahead, because this is the number that we're starting off with, 113.4 million. And we only got that news just a little earlier ago. It's hot off the press. So 113.4 million. Keep an eye on that. We were down, I think, yesterday at 108 million, if I remember rightly. Was it that much? I think it was 108. Yeah, so we're up about 5.5 million. Keep a lookout on this bridge. I think we lost, if I remember right, if we had the right data, we lost about 40 million back on the 31st of July last year. Well, actually 23, I think it was. Yeah, remember the years are going past so fast. Now we're around 2025 now. Yeah, 31st of July, we lost about 40 million, if I remember rightly, over the bridge. So keep a lookout for this number. Very, very important there. Definitely a health check for Pulsechain. And of course, now that Pulsechain is unencumbered by any legal issue there, it is fantastic. 20 days for the SEC to do something, but I really give that a low chance of happening. Once again, not financial advice, just our probability thinking there with the change of the SEC hierarchy and approach to crypto. Superman, it is indeed. That's your host, Superman in the house. Brennan says, lol, same as gas on ETH. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it crazy? All right, so let's move on from there. Now, I wanted to quickly look on the, let me just quickly go to the, I thought I had it brought up today, but I don't, but we'll pull it up now. We're going to get into that in a minute. So we got $79.7 million of volume at the moment. So 79.7 million. So we're almost at $80 million of volume. Fantastic, right? And we got 301, almost 302,000 transactions at the moment. Lots of things are pumping. Doubt token from 26 days ago is up 62%. XUSD is up 35%. Incentive token, of which we've talked about, is up 46%, leading the way. Richard Hart tokens, X is up 43%. And PulseX, of course, with Richard Hart token as well, up 42%. Solid X is up 37%. And we're still waiting for that crash game from Eric from DragonX. So when's that coming? Was expecting it in December, and now we're in March now, actually, in New Zealand, and the end of February in the US. Not many hours to go for that. UFO up 36%. Man, we've got a lot of good stuff. UpX up 35%. PDC, the Greys, that is up as well. So that's kind of cool to see that. Trope is up 32%. From good old James Maria. I was going to say James Cameron, but it's James Maria, the super dev. That's up as well. Teddy Bear up 31%. Incognito up 30%. It's Hex, of course, up 29% there. Loan token even making a push now, up 28%, which is pretty cool from Liquid Loans. It's the Liquidity Fork USDL. So lots of things there up. UFO up. Everything is up. ALGO up 23%. Nope up from Randy Alaski. A big shout out to him, is up 22%. And so on. So yeah, just on and on and on. Many tokens up over 20% there. The list just goes on. Look at that. I'm not going to go through them all, but you can see that they're all on the move. All the DEXs are on the move. 9-inch, Spark, they're all on the move there. PDI with getting PDI on DieHard up there as well. So lots of stuff there. We talked about Finvestor yesterday or 2 days ago. That's down 11% at the moment, but still ticking. I think it was up like $45, $35 at the moment. A bit of profit taking there. Like I say, when we were talking about it, was up near the high of the rally, so it was likely to have a bit of a pullback, and MV did talk about that. It is a speculative ecosystem, but with some pretty cool tokenomics inspired by a Trooper. So, you know, we'll see how that progresses there. People were definitely getting their airdrops into their wallets. Pretty neat. Lots of innovation on Pulsechain, right? Lots of innovation. We love it. All right, so that is pretty much it. Let's see what Nuclear Herbs. Now, Nuclear Herbs has been commentating on the court case for some time. and like he's going to have to get a new job. What's he going to get a new job? He's probably got a job. I'm just kidding, but he's been doing a great job out there. He says 1 hour ago, it's 31 pages. Who can upload it here for me? I have the PDF. And he goes, and of course, annual fraud claims too. So all that got shot down, right? All that got shot down from the court case. So pretty exciting there. 1 hour ago, Herb says, okay, so technically she left the door open for the SEC to try and amend the complaint, but she spent the previous 30 pages noting why their factual basis was insufficient to establish any claims against Richard. So good luck with that. Yeah, not a good chance, right? Not a good chance there. Someone should crush Charles Hodgson's dreams and let him know the court couldn't find any fraud. And this is, it's put a bit of egg on Charles's face, isn't it? From Ada, the Ada founder there. So he's going to have to wipe that off with a cool handy towel. That's pretty much it. So awesome stuff there. Very, very cool. 1 hour ago says, so it took about half an hour or so for court lister to grab the actual document from Pacer, but it's available direct on the court lister now, which I've posted you that link, right? So if you want to get the link to the full thing and you can read it in your own time, probably just read the discussion I would suggest if you're going to do that. And that link is there, right? So if you want to hit that link, that they will give you the link to the actual decision for Richard Hart and Pulsechain. Pretty awesome, right? All right. Now, Brian says, I did talk about that earlier, Brian. Is RH still Interpol most wanted? I believe he is. But like I said, there's going to be probably a bit of pressure to get him off that. So I know the community's been doing some things around that. And he's probably got his own lawyers there, probably addressing that issue as well. So pretty cool. Especially now this court case is down, right? It's taken away, I think, at least half of the stuff. The other half was some 16-year-old assault, which just seemed ridiculous. And of course, there's Richard Hart was on live stream, I think, at the same time, wasn't he? He had there was nothing wrong with his hands or his face or anything. So yeah, and it's just a very unlikely event to have happen. So that's pretty much that. So I drop a quick thank you below to Michael Litkiff there, the lawyers, and David Kirk for the outstanding work they did in drafting the motion to dismiss, as well as preparing for the arguing Richard Hart's case in the EDNU. So a few months ago, those who were there know how well it went. But if you don't want always get what you want, even when you feel like you've earned it, they earned it, they got it. So they're pretty cool. And there's some links to some of the lawyers that won the case there for Richard Hart. So pretty awesome there. The largest litigation firm in the world is the old Quinn Emanuel and Kirk. And was it Kirk Ingham there? Kirk and Ingham also in the house there. And of course, 70 minutes ago, they even put up look at this hot off the press. 70 minutes ago, Kurt and Ingham, one of the lawyers, we are pleased to obtain a dismissal. They might need to work on their English, but apart from that, we are pleased to obtain a dismissal in SEC's case against our client Richard Hart today. It is a very rare victory for crypto. That's very important, right? It's a very rare victory for crypto. But who's going to have the chance of winning this? Richard Hart, right? He's got a heart of a lion, and man, he's got that same fortitude as he's got the same fortitude as the President Trump, right? I almost started there. President Trump. We express our gratitude to the fantastic leadership team and vibrant community that helped make this happen. So fantastic news there, right? Fantastic news. That is hot off the press there. Pretty awesome, right? Pretty awesome. Big thank you there. So fantastic stuff for that. I'm going to go quickly to Manual. See if they've posted something as well. They may have. You just never know. Don't see anything there. So brand fantastic news. So that is there from Herb. So big shout out to Brennan there for highlighting that as well. Pineapple 888 says 2025 is a great year for crypto. Yeah, I actually think 26 is going to be as well. Actually, I've definitely started to think more like that too. All right. What Torch Johnny says, enjoy your seat on the gains chains. You have earned it. Absolutely. We're going to see some probably some pretty serious re-rating on Pulsechain as well. All right. So that is that. Let's hear from Richard Hart. Last 13 hours, he's been really active on X as well. Hex is basically Bitcoin, so he's talking about a lot of that stuff. You can't make stuff up, so that was pretty cool. We've seen a lot of cool stuff from that. So promoting Hex, pretty neat there 13 hours ago. What else did we get from Richard? We got some cool posts here. Let me explain to you how stupid Hex headers actually are. So really pushing Hex here as well. So got some cool posts around that from Richard. Let me explain to you why Ethereum prices are down more than normal. And of course, he talks about that. So he's got some good stuff, insights there about that as well. I educate an industry full of idiots. And that's right. Hey, look, I've always said, Richard's really great at his price calls, but his market calls are the best in the market that I've ever seen. I think he's saved a lot of people during the last downturn. Of course, with all the big things falling out like Terra Luna out of the sky, and he talked about all those, and a lot of those founders and CEOs of those companies said that Richard Hart was the scammer, and yet they were the ones that all end up scamming everybody. And we're talking about tens of billions of dollars. So Richard Hart wins again. Isn't that pretty awesome? So big shout out. You got to give credit where credit's due. Seems like the giant 400,000 Ethereum hacker has 120,000 ETH left that in the 40 or so addresses. He sent to 10,000 ETH to each. I think you have Pulsechain Explorer. You can run locally with no ads instead of having see ads as scams. And stupid enough to get hacked for billions of dollars in Pulsechain. So nothing interesting to see there. So pretty interesting there, covering that big rug as well, which they indicate was the Chinese, right? Not the Chinese, the North Koreans, I should say, hacker group. Now that's going to lead us on into Signum Oracle. Signum Oracle at the moment. And we've got Signum Oracle is coming. It's imminent on Pulsechain. So we got good news from Richard Hart. Now we're getting another piece of great news around Signum Oracle. Pulsechain has no Oracle. Ethereum has like Chainlink and things like that, but we have no Oracle. And this is going to be massive for opening up the next wave of developers, more complicated, more clever protocols. So the Signum Oracle is going to be launched. It's going to give us price calls, non-price calls, potentially tools like RNGs. This is a big deal for Pulsechain. So we got two big things happening this week, and wow, it's going to be exciting. Now I'm going to hopefully interview with Stu when he's ready, and this is the update at the moment that we got last night from Stu. So let's quickly read that out on the Telegram. So he says this is 8 o'clock this morning, I think, or 8 o'clock yesterday in the morning. So this is about just over a day old. And he says, we are debugging the final build as we speak. Only a few more minor errors to resolve and good to go for release. And of course, he's going to be having a live demo with me on this channel coming up. And what does that open up? Opens up, obviously, a huge resource for developers to use Unleash with an Oracle. Very important for price calls in particular. And of course, also going to open up tools and non-price calls. But importantly, if you want to actually become an Oracle reporter, it's potentially a way for you to earn another form of income, just like people do with validating on Pulsechain. Could be pretty lucrative as well. And of course, the more protocols that use it, the more calls it's getting, the more tips that are made. And so that could be pretty exciting as well. You probably will need a dedicated computer. There's software to download and operate. But we're going to be, hopefully with Stu, the founder, we're going to be going through that on the live stream. So look forward to that once we have it. Now, that could be probably by tomorrow. I might have that live stream, so I'll just keep you tabs with that. But the launch is imminent. They are, like I say, just doing the final little checks. And so we're looking forward to that coming up there. Big shout out to Stu. I know it's a lot of hard work to bring this big infrastructure projects to Pulsechain. So big shout out there. And what that's going to unleash, well, we know we've already got some big protocols. They're going to need to use the Signum Oracle. One of them, of course, is Jacob, and he's the best peer-to-peer dev in the world. And he's got the big, massive DeFi protocol, the PUSD ALGO, PUSD being the first algorithmic stablecoin on Pulsechain. I know there's another one out there, but it's not actually a stablecoin. They're all speculative stables. Anyone that says we're a stablecoin, but they're speculative, like XD, some of these other ones on Pulsechain, they're not. They're just not a dollar. They're like a fraction of a penny. Those aren't algorithmic stablecoins. And of course, this is going to be pegged to $1 straight away, right? Pretty much. Like, they have a little bit of volatility just in the first little launch period, but then it will peg to $1 in that instance. And how's it going to be done? It's going to be like Terra Luna, but done right? So there's going to be no humans. There's going to be another bad minting mechanism. There's going to be no ridiculous ROI yield like they had for Anchor. Things like that are going to be gone. It's going to be full DeFi solution, which is what we're in here for, the Holy Grail. And with the stability miners, people provide liquidity. That liquidity is helped to use to support the peg. The peg for PUSD is also going to be backed by a second form of stablecoin, USDL, which is a liquidity fork. So we're going to have the best of both worlds inside this protocol. It's also going to have a V3 DEX, potentially being maybe number 2 biggest DEX, possibly. It's going to have a full offering in there, and potentially could also be tied in to Jacob's other projects like Pulse Mafia, the number 1 GameFi, Metaverse, and NFT marketplace on Pulsechain. So there's a lot of opportunity coming here. It's going to be pretty exciting. Now, you've still got to be patient with the timeline. Everyone knows that with Jacob. That's probably his one challenge, is getting things out fast. He does like to take his time. and of course that can be good and bad in crypto. But in any case, he is building, and it's great to have him on the Pulse chain, building these big visionary projects like PUSD, ALGO, like Pulse Mafia. And of course, after the Signum Oracle goes live, if it's operating as expected, he's going to give us an updated plan of action for PUSD, ALGO, and I'm hoping to get him back on the channel for another big live stream as well, like we did a year ago. So if you want to check out PUSD, ALGO, I did an interview with him a year ago. It gives you the key things. There's a whole ton of short videos. You can just type in PUSD, ALGO into the channel on YouTube here, and you can find that series. Fantastic interview with him then. And of course, when it tested, live test on Pulsechain a year ago, it operated incredibly well and better than the other stable coins on Pulsechain, and it was impressive. And it also made money, which was pretty crazy as well. So this is really the holy grail to get a proper algorithmic stablecoin. Terra Luna done right, as I always say, with PUSD, ALGO. So excited about that. Now, up to 75% of the sacrifice / contributions to this protocol will be going into the protocol day one. So it's not going to be like liquid loans with 50 million bucks and maybe it costs a couple millions to develop and market. It's going to be full on into the protocol. So that is where Jacob, he wants people to be successful. He wants to create great products and for people to really flourish. And of course, this is one of those. So pretty exciting. Now, if you want to participate in this, there's 2 bonuses. A link to the video description to get 19% bonuses in the video description. If you do $1,000, so it's about 840 bucks plus the referral bonus of 19%, that will get to $1,000. That will then open you up for the second bonus, and that is a random bonus somewhere between 1.01 and 2x. So that is massive. You don't want to miss out on that second one if you can help it. But once again, you got to be patient. We will be getting an updated on the plan for PUSD, ALGO after Signum Oracle is up and running. Okay, so I don't know how long it's going to be. It's going to be a week. It's going to be 3 weeks. I do not know. So we'll find out and we'll keep tabs on that. So that is some big stuff there. Talking about Jacob's big projects, well, we've got Pulse Mafia. Big news, of course, came out with the wiki, but I want to talk to you about his vault, obviously with the good news around the Pulsechain victory, the Richard Hart victory over the SEC. We've also now got the vault has gone up like $100,000 just in one day. So you can see how powerful this could be. We get Pulsechain on a run. This vault in Mafia could be multi-million-dollar game, particularly 1 million is our first target, multi-million after that, right? So we are looking good. We need about a 2.5x from here for $1 million game in vault. And of course, this doesn't include the BNB vault. And of course, if we get the 10x, and then we're in a multi-million-dollar game for Mafia in the vault. So it's a huge draw card, right? But not just a draw card, but also with some amazing game aspects here. Now, we also, if you missed it, we also have a new stage here. So this will delay, the launch, but pre-ranking is going to be a pretty big part of the game. So the game is kind of launching in a staged way, but once we get pre-ranking, the gameplay is actually starting to really kick into gear, right? So because people are going to be able to pre-rank their players, which basically means they're playing most of the game. You can't kill people at the stage for the most part, but you can do all these things. So they're going to be having earn rank, earn cash, commit crimes. So really the game's going to start playing based on this update here. Stealing cars, smuggling booze, smuggling narcotics, traveling to other cities, going to jail, public jail page, manage the help bots, manage garage, rank progress, etc. So these things are coming. And so we've got open for business, which is the big businesses like casinos and things like that. We've got narcotics and booze warehouses coming next. That is going to be going live with pre-ranking. So really the game is about to start. Now, you don't have the killing part, but it's got just about everything else in it, which is pretty exciting. So it's, if you look at it from that perspective, it really is getting here very, very quickly. And then, of course, after that, we're going to have raid spots, which I imagine is going to be fairly quick because they've already got a lot of spots in play. Maybe they have to write up a code. Then communication, that should be pretty quick as well. And then vault requirements. Obviously, Pulsechain's been met with 5 billion. We're way above that, almost 8 billion, which makes it like number 180 biggest sacrifice of a Pulsechain. That's kind of the way I look at it, which is pretty crazy. And then we got the official launch. That'd be a lot of killing and maiming and stuff like that. Now, one of the big things is that we have all the gangsters. As you guys know, I'm the consigliere for the directorate, the most powerful and feared allegiance and set of families on Pulse Mafia. But now we've got the protocol FBI. It's almost like an antagonist, right? He's built an antagonist. If the families aren't going to fight, then he wants us to be fighting the FBI. Is that what he's trying to do there? Anyway, so just a warning out to you. If you are going to be playing the FBI, then the leadership of the directorate and our mafia gangsters we're gonna hunt you down. We're gonna hunt you down. Don't you think you're gonna intimidate us? No. We're gonna be fighting back. So be careful out there if you decide to take up a role in the FBI. Whether it doesn't matter what you are, whether you're going to be any of these roles, you could be the director of the FBI, you could be the sergeants, you could be the special agents. The directorate is the most feared and most powerful family. We're the only family allegiance in Mafia that has an army. So no one really wants to take us on. And of course, all hail to our new Don, the Don of Dons, Max Payne, out there doing a great job. So a big shout out to him. But once again, a big warning to those who are going to be on the FBI. We are not to be messed around with. So you don't mess around with us, you'll be fine. But you mess around with us, and all hell will break loose. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Now, that there is a chapter of the Trump playbook. So there we go on that one. Now we've got a couple more comments in the chat, so let's go to some of those. I think we got Sandy Beach has got some more party stuff going on there, looking good. Hey, a big shout to Francia as well. I do see your comments regularly and reply to those. So big shout out to you, Francis. Hope you're doing very well as well. So yeah, even Brian's giving you a bit of a shout out there. Nice one, Brian. Very cool indeed. All right. So that is Pulse Mafia. Now you can play Pulse Mafia. It is going to be a fun game. If you want to earn crypto, you want to play to earn, or whatever you want to do on there. You just like playing games, then Pulse Mafia is definitely one to check out. It only costs 2,000 Mafia, which is like $1 or something to make a player. So it's very, 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 very cheap to play. And you can, decide to join a family or not. There's going to be lots of opportunities to play the game regardless of where you are. So definitely check out Pulse Mafia. Join up to the official telegrams as well. And if you want to join the directorate families, just hit the telegram there. Just click on one of the families there, and you can do that. And I'll just quickly show that. So you connect your wallet and you can start make a player. You need to get 2,000 Mafia. And of course, you can go to buy Mafia to that. You will need some slippage to buy that. But then after you've made a player, you can go and join one of these families. If you want to join the directorate, click on the top one there, top family, and just go to the telegram there, and you can join up into our telegram there and just tell them that Superman sent you, and it'll be a lot of fun. All right, take care, everybody. All right, so I hope you guys enjoy that. All right, so that is the Mafia there. So lots of things happening on Pulsechain. It is not sleeping, and Jacob there leading the way. Now it's going to lead us into our standard part of the show, which is the stock market update. The stock market did well. Whoa, after a bit of a mixed week. It was quite a weak week, really. But the S&P 500 closed higher, struggling off. I think Monday, Tuesday was okay, but was it Wednesday, Thursday? A pretty bad. Friday, though, has closed in real strong there. S&P closed higher, shrugging off a Trump-Zelensky clash. Now, I have posted that video of Trump and Zelensky's clash there. Zelensky, man, what an amateur. It was really, really bad. And it just shows you he's got a lot of problems, right? And I'm not just talking about the war. We got the Dow Jones there up 1.4%, 600 points. What a big day for the Dow Jones, 43,800. Fantastic result there. Let's have a look at the last week on the chart here. And we can see that we had a pretty volatile week. Look at that. And then a downtime right down here on Thursday. But we've actually had a massive jump back on the last Friday. How about that? What a great day to finish. Now, the S&P 500 is up 1.6%. For the week. It's still down for the week, unlike the Dow Jones, but is up 1.6%, 93 points to 5,954, almost back over 6,000. And we're probably retraced about 2/3 of the loss in the week that we've just had. The Nasdaq with all the tech companies in it down 1.63%, or up 1.63%, up 300 points to 18,847. We are still down based on this. Let me have a look at that. Yeah, let me just double check. Still down from the looks of it on this. But nice little recovery there today. It doesn't show up in the chart, though, so I'm a bit peculiar about there. The US dollar is up as well, 30% to 107.5 versus its trading partners. So the US dollar is staying strong there. Now, looking at commodities, we've got West Texas is down below $70 again. Brent oil is at $72.60. Both of those down over 0.5%. Gold is at $2,862, down 1%, and silver down 1.5%, almost at $31.34. So the commodities getting hit, even though the markets are rallying there. Now, obviously, there were some big gambles there with the Zelensky-Trump meeting. I have posted that video on the channel. Go watch that. It is pretty crazy little Oval Office meeting there. And, of course, President Trump and Ukraine President Zelensky clashed at the Oval Office on Friday as Trump criticized for not being grateful enough for the U.S. support and criticized him Zelensky for not being grateful enough for the US support in its war with Russia. Trump then said Zelensky had no leverage in the current war, adding that a proposed rare earth minerals deal would put Ukraine in a better negotiation position to end the war. You got to remember, Zelensky's not he's not a negotiator, right? He's off doing his own thing. He's trying to rally the Europeans, having secret little meetings and things like that. And then he comes to the US thinking he's going to be a big boy pants, right? This is not the way the big players play, right? There's big players in the world. There's a big chess game, and Trump plays the world like a chessboard, and he uses a lot of his strategies out of the Art of the Deal. If you haven't seen that, and if you read the Art of the Deal, you'll see it. When you watch him in the thing, you'll see him doing those things, and he does it like clockwork. And so Trump says you're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III, and what you're doing is very disrespectful to this country. Yeah, Zelensky was very, very unprofessional and making a big mistake there. Now, he did go back. He got kicked out of the White House, and they didn't end up having the press meeting after that, because they normally have the welcome in the Oval Office, go have the meetings, make agreements and decisions, and then go have the press conference and talk about some of the fruits of those meetings. That did not happen. And of course, then he got kicked out, into an armored vehicle, and off Zelensky went. Now, following this meeting with Trump, Zelensky took to social media platform X, thanking America and Trump administration for the visit and support. Obviously, he had to come back and grow up a bit. And he said, "Thank you, America. Thank you for your support. Thank you for this visit." Skinsley sent on post on X, "Thank you, POTUS, Congress, and the American people. Ukraine needs just and lasting peace, and we are working exactly for that." Now, this has nothing to do with people dying on the battlefield. Obviously, that's a big concern for Trump. It's nothing to do with all of the years since 2014, and particularly, the last 2 years that Ukraine's had to deal with. This to do with diplomacy. And this is not, Zelensky is not the way you do diplomacy, and he made a big blunder there. And of course, Trump is he's not just thinking about Ukraine, he's trying to think about the whole globe. So he's positioning everything around the whole world. And so that's when you're listening to stuff that he's saying, it's in context to all the other issues he's trying to solve as well, to bring world peace to the world. It's a pretty bad mistake there. Anyway, the other positive news that we had was PCE inflation data meets expectations. US inflation matched the prior month's pace and slowed on an annualized basis in January. So this is good news. While consumer spending unexpectedly contracted, presenting a muddled economic picture for the Federal Reserve policymakers, considering the path ahead for interest rates there. The Personal Consumption Expenditure Price Index. This is the main price gauge of inflation that the Federal Reserve uses. The other one, of course, is CPI. Everyone knows that one. Ticked up by 0.3% last month, according to data from the Commerce Department. The figure was in line with December's pace, so not much change there, which was itself the largest increase since April 2024. In the 12 months through to January, the PCE inflation eased slightly to 2.5% from 2.6%. So that's kind of good. Remember, they're trying to target 2%, although I think the United States should move to a new range. They should change their policy in Congress to move the act for the Federal Reserve, which is independent, to 1 to 3%, which is what we have here in New Zealand. Ironically enough, 2% is what New Zealand created that idea, and countries around the world like the United States have adopted it, but they probably should move away from it, is my guess. Stripping out food and energy, so-called core PCE inflation came in at 2.6% year on year, cooling from 2.9%. So that's good news in December, and equaling predictions. The initial December gauge was at 2.8%. So it's a pretty good number though. On a monthly basis, core PCE accelerated marginally to 0.3% from 0.2%, also meeting forecast there. So at least you're meeting forecast. The market's not too worried. Meeting consumer spending. Meanwhile, consumer spending, which accounts for the large bulk of the U.S. economy, remember it's about 2/3 of the U.S. GDP. U.S. GDP is at about $28.6 trillion. Isn't that crazy? 28.6 trillion, amazing. Dropped by 0.2%, following an upwardly revised expansion of 0.8% in December. Analysts had seen the number increase by 0.2%. Now, the Fed, which keeps particularly close tabs on the PCE data, pause on the cycle of interest rate reductions. So we haven't seen anything since last year. Remember, we got 1 percentage point at this last meeting, particularly citing concerns around possible impacts of Donald Trump's import tariffs. And of course, they kick in next week. So we're probably going to have some more volatility, next week. It's definitely plausible. We'll see. Although the market should have priced it in, you just never know. The market's a bit fickle sometimes. So just take that into account. Next week could be a little bit nervous there. Sometimes it may not be, but because the market doesn't know about it. But you just never know, right? How do people react and lots of stuff. Now, impact on Donald Trump's import tariff and immigration plans on inflation. And obviously, illegal immigration is pretty bullish. illegal immigration is shut down, right? That's a game there. I wish we would shut down our illegal immigration in New Zealand. It is ridiculous. And of course, there won't be many Kiwis. People like myself, are going to be extinct and probably inside 5 years, 10 years from now. So just take that account. We'll still be around, but there'll be very few. We'll lose the majority. We won't be the majority anymore, which basically means you've been invaded, right? Your country's been invaded and you're now being replaced. That's pretty much it. Pretty sad here in New Zealand. The central bank had slashed borrowing costs by 100 basis points to a range of 4.25 and 4.5% in a series of gatherings late last year. It had hiked rates by a sharp 5.25 percentage points, 2022, 2023, in a bid to stamp out elevated price pressures. So that's kind of where we are there on the old economics there. So some pretty decent news there out of that. So the market really liked it and up it went. Now that leads us into Bitcoin. So we're going to talk about that as well. We've got some rockets there from Francis. Nice one, Francis. Definitely rocket day there on Pulsechain. Brian says it's a big game and Zelensky ain't in it. Yeah. He should have seen a diplomat, someone that at least had some kudos there, or just shut his mouth. One of the two. Sign the deal, sign the rare earths deal, and get on with it. I must give a shout out to JD Vance, the vice president, did a great job inside the Oval Office at that time too, holding not only Zelensky but Prime Minister Starmer as well in the previous meeting to account. Who was removing? He held him to account for free speech, and Starmer sat there with a straight face, saying that they're proud of their free speech. Starmer is a dictator and has been removing free speech and moving the UK to a socialist nightmare. Let's say. Brennan says we can move to Hexco Super. Yeah, well, that's on Richard Hart's roadmap, right? Is a whole country, right? We'll be looking forward to that moving ahead, right? That's going to be a lot of fun. So Bitcoin at the moment, we got that down at 78,000, and that's on the hourly. There's the hourly chart on Bitcoin on Coinbase. We're back up here over the moving average as well for 200 moving average for the hourly, and we're back at 84,400. Brennan, let me know what your thoughts are about Bitcoin at the moment, because we kind of hit the number I was talking about yesterday in the Discord. If you haven't joined our Discord, join up. The link's in the video description and in the chat there as well. Let's go to the daily here on Bitcoin. And so forth. Bam. Now, what else we got here? We've got this blue line is the 200 moving average for Bitcoin, and it's sitting at 85,600. We actually collapsed below that. We got all the way down here to 78,500 today. Pretty ruthless, 78,500. Now, you guys know I said to you the horizontal support was this green line at 72 to 73,000, and we haven't got there yet, thank goodness. Now, it's not inevitable, right? Just saying that's where we had a lot of resistance here. And of course, we broke out from back here in November. You can see how much resistance we had here. Look at all that resistance in that zone, 72 to 73,000. And we broke out of there. And we had really no other support there. And at the moment, we got to 78.5. Now, often when we wick down, we can often go down to that wick, but sometimes that can be the formation that's going to bounce here. At the moment, we're going to got this bullish but was it bullish butterfly cross here? That could be very well. Maybe it's done. So fingers crossed. But next week, those tariffs might cause volatility. I'm not 100% sure we're out of the woods yet, but we're certainly having a bit of a reprieve at the moment. That stock market result had to be kind of cool. So yeah, let's go to full chart here, as we say. Thanks, Brian, for that full screen. Yeah, sometimes it's easy to forget that I'd set that up, but Brian, thanks to Brian for that. Very, very cool. All right, so let's jump over to that. It seems to be showing up pretty nicely too. That is where we are. It looks a lot better, doesn't it? Look a lot better there, Brian. It looks a lot better. All right, so that is kind of where we are on that chart there. So let's see if it holds up. And of course, like I say, we do have some news that this price might hold up because of the monetary supply and how that's forecasting here into March. So even though next week might be a little bit volatile, I still think March could be very, very good given some of the fundamentals. Brendan says BTC had a healthy dip from previous all-time high. Good reset for fear and greed. We can slowly trek up from here, says Brennan. So there we go. That's from our TA guru. Big shout out to him. He's in our Discord as well. So another good reason to join up to Discord. So you can just talk to Brennan about TA all day there as well. And he's very good at it, by the way. He makes very good calls on it. So big shout out to Brennan. Don't tell Wookie though, because Wookie will get annoyed. Wookie's his apprentice, although sometimes I think he thinks he's the overlord. Anyway, Wookie's not here today because I think he's at golf. So you probably won't hear about this, hopefully, unless he's in the replay gang. You just never know. All right, so that's kind of where we are at the moment. So I'm still very optimistic about where we're going. Now, what have we had for the month? As you guys know, we had a bit of a sell-off in the ETFs, so you can see that here. We even had $1 billion day back on the 25th. Yesterday it was down 750 million, and today the ETF slid out 276 million so far. So obviously that sell-off reflecting in the price there. You can see the price of Bitcoin coming down there as well. So the money will return. I mean, we get these green candles as well. It will be back. It will be back, and maybe it's back from here. Maybe we've reached the bottom where we are now. All right, so let's jump over to Bitcoin returns. Well, essentially, we got the end of February, right? Down 17.4%. Boo, boo. But hey, look, it's been a Trump reset, a bit of a mixture. We still don't have a lot of the bullish crypto proposals out yet. Maybe like a Bitcoin reserve and things like that. So then maybe that's ahead of us. Maybe it comes out in March. I mean, they're busy, right? They're putting executive orders out all the time. So maybe that's coming up ahead of us, and crypto will have that big run in March. Now, I've said that February is one of the two greenest months, along with October, but looks like we've ended up negative, unfortunately. Now, obviously, we based our decisions on probability, but sometimes that doesn't play out, especially when you have special events like a restructure of the world order by President Trump. So here we are at negative 17.4% at the moment. So fingers crossed that March is green. Obviously, last 4 years, March has been green. So maybe we pick it up here now that we've had this big retrace to 84,000. Maybe we get that big. We actually went to 78,000. We're back at 84,000 now. We get that big retrace now, and after maybe the beginning of next week, we can start rallying up again for March and April and start heading towards that 150K Bitcoin target. Crypto, 20, 30 days in a year, you make your big losses, you make your big gains. And that's how it goes. So fingers crossed for that. Now, we do have some a very good analytical commentary about the Bitcoin number here, and I'm sure Brennan would find this interesting. And of course, before I get onto that, though, let's post Brennan's comment because that's pretty funny, even though Wookie's not here to defend himself. Wookie must have hit a hole in one for all the great news. Yeah, he probably did. Very good. All right, so macro tightening fully reflected in the 80K, commenting on the impact of the macro climate could have on Bitcoin. Meanwhile, Julian Battil, head of macro research at Global Macro Investor, had good news for the bulls. So this probably goes on the back of your comments, Brennan, about we've had a good pullback and the charts reset on the greed index as well, fear and greed index. So that's pretty cool. So commenting on impact there, everything happens in the markets right now, especially in crypto, as a direct consequence, says Julian, of the tightening of financial conditions in Q4 last year. This is something I know Brennan will love because he loves this sort of analysis. He argued in part of his latest X analysis of the day, when financial conditions tighten, liquidity gets drained and economic surprises start to slow. And he's got the old chart there of Bitcoin and the 3M, and you can see that it was pretty negative. At the end of 24, down at negative 20%. But that monetary supply, the GMI Financial Conditions Index, has started to climb there. And of course, that leads where we get the Bitcoin price, right? So that is pretty cool. So it looks like we've probably got some sort of rebound coming in and leading into Bitcoin there with the money. Patel suggests that the scare affecting markets would not last much longer. Here's the thing: this will all reverse next month. He forecast. So that's March there. So that pulls into our expectation, though. Yeah, we didn't get a good green month like normal, but March, the last 4 years, has been pretty good. And this economic analysis suggests that March is going to be good as well, perhaps after we get those tariffs up early next week, although the market knows about them, so maybe it won't do anything. Financial conditions have been easing rapidly over the past 2 months. Dollar down, bonds yields down, oil down, and that's setting the stage for recovery in the data soon. Remember, financial conditions are always leading. So I'll read that one more time. Financial conditions have been easing rapidly over the past 2 months. And of course, that'd be January, February. Dollar is down. Dollar's a little bit up, but bond yields down, oil's down, and that's setting the stage for a recovery in the data. Remember, financial conditions are always leading. So there we go. Bitcoin at 80K, he concluded, means tighter conditions were fully reflected in the Bitcoin price action. Everyone's already on the same side of the trade. Sentiment is extremely bearish, and the Bitcoin is sitting at an RSI of 23. I'm not sure if is that what your RSI you got there, Brennan. The most oversold level since August 2023. So like I say, we get big sell-offs, but we also get big pumps that happen out of the blue pretty quickly. So maybe that is looking very good for a March setup now. For those that get fudded out, you have weekends. Unfortunately, it's just a part of human nature. Then it also happens the other way. We get massive FOMO as well. So that is going to play there. So that was pretty interesting. And of course, there is the markets at the moment. Bitcoin down a third of a percent. Ethereum there down 2.8% over 24 hours. BNB down 2.8%, $588. XRP down 2.3%, and ADA down 2%. So they're all down pretty much 2 to 3%. There on those prices. Solana, though, making a bit of a green day, up 7.7% at $148, and Tron there up 2.3% at 23 cents. Litecoin also up at 1% there as well, $128. So there is a bit of move there, and a couple of the leaders as well. So that is pretty much it for that. We're going to get into TitanX, which had a pump before the live stream, but of course with Pulsechain rallying, and we've got some shared investors, some of them may sell and go over the bridge and go over to Pulsechain, right? Probably the case. Sandy Beach says, I missed you guys. I'll be back soon. Hey, Sandy, it's always a pleasure to have you in the house as well. You're kind of, you're our golden princess, as we would say. She'd love that. Brennan says, mid-March, make sure you have your bags packed. Absolutely. It's great to see Sandy actually back in the chat there and nice and healthy. Very, very good. Pack your bags for March. That's looking good. So pick up some of these little discounts, up to you to decide, but definitely looking good at the bottom of these cycles. You pick them up at the bottom, you buy low, and then you sell high. That's pretty much how you go, right? Now, talking about TitanX. TitanX, of course, the hyper-deflationary narrative didn't play out last year and, of course, into this year. But it's actually got all the buy and burns locked up, so it's actually collaterally backed. And so the future's looking bright, especially with the Omnichain as well. And we know that all the devs are building. So things are looking pretty good. Now, it was pretty 14% green before the live stream. Unfortunately, it's negative 3% now where we're actually covering it. But let's have a quick look at the prices there. Like I say, it would have probably got sold off by a couple of big bags going over the Pulsechain, right? Yeah, so we had this peak. This is at the 15-minute chart. So we're zigzagging up on the 15-minute. Look really good. 6 zeros, 2,145 on Titan. And then we had some people sell probably on the Richard Hart win, and then probably sell and go over the Pulsechain. That's pretty much what we see. We see this a lot, and that shows up pretty well in this chart. We're having a little bounce back here at the moment. Let's see if it holds up. Now, TitanX versus ETH. That has also got the same thing there. We were all the way back up at 10 zeros, 9,600. Remember, we almost lost a zero again, and we didn't quite make it, and then sold off by a couple of players because of the Richard Hart news. We probably would have possibly keep going, but Richard Hart news, and we had some big players sell off, and there we go. So now we're back up to 10 zeros, 8,349. So there we go. We'll see how that calms down over the weekend here. So that is TitanX. X28 pretty much followed the course there as well, down 8%. The ratio, though, has slipped. It was at 0.92. It's now 0.87. That is pretty dramatic as well. I'd like to see that close up to 1-to-1, but at the moment, that is a discount, which is an interesting trend there that we've seen there at the moment. So TitanX, the preferred asset relative to X28. X28 is the Omnichain version. DragonX at the moment, 6.44. TitanX down a little bit there, down 5%. Like I said, these were all up like 12, 14%. But once we got that Pulsechain news, we got a sell off there. We've seen that before, haven't we? Shogun there is going Omnichain soon too. That's only down 1.7%. That's holding pretty steady. It's got the perpetual auctions going. It's got the buy and burn going, things like that. Hyper and Hydra, they're also down. They were all up. So this is all super green. I said TitanX pumps, and it did pump, I promise you. It's just, unfortunately, Pulsechain attracted too much attention, and it's got a lot of shared investors. So you know how it works. So there we go. We're at 0.09. Now remember, Hydra is all minted out now from yesterday. And the buy and burns turned off. All the buy and burns are turned off. So all of it's collateral, and it's going to have its day in the sun. But when are they going to turn them on? That's the question, right? A lot of things going out there. Vault, of course, got a big roadmap coming out. We're going to talk about that coming up as well. And what else? We got the Inferno's going with the Omnichain. That's going to be bullish for that. And then Morpheus had a big jump in value and then got sold off. So this was up big time. Now it's down 29%. Man, the volatility in crypto is insane. So there we go. And good old happens when Pulsechain gets some good news. Matrix is still holding up there, 23.4%. So good on you, Matrix. It's holding up there. LegendX is down 18% there. What else we got going? Ouroboros is up 10%. So that's good news for Ouroboros. Now we're going to have a quickly look at Ouroboros because that is going to be doing some good things for Vault, good things for ORX, which is the Ouroboros token. But let's have a quick look at quick look at the site there. So all right, let's see the stats here on Ouroboros with the market. Man, it was looking even better before, but yeah, it's just the time. It's funny how timing, man, isn't that crazy? So TitanX was having a good rally, and then Pulsechain gets big news about the court case, and then you get just a few players, just like a few decent players, and then it gets sold off, which is kind of that's crypto for you, right? That's just the way it goes. We got $1.25 million of TVL at the moment. Only TitanX and DragonX are collateral. 4.333 trillion TitanX at the moment, and 374 billion DragonX. That is where we are there at the moment. And the staking, USDX staking, the stablecoin, just under 500% APR, pretty good at the moment. So big shout out there. Once again, I think a big shout out, well-deserved shout out to Super Shady, who's the founder of this. I think he's done a fantastic job with the launch. I mean, it's not easy to launch these kind of stablecoin, kind of liquidy type of products. So really, really excited with this. He's done a great job. Now, the other one, of course, we know that ROX is going to be probably coming up with collateral, and so is Vault is for consideration. It probably have to go through the governance, but that is looking good. And then Ethereum as well. So the amount of collateral you can use, if you go to the USDX Minter, which is where you can make new loans, you open up a new account, make new loans, that is coming up. So, you're going to have more than just TitanX and DragonX, Vault, ETH, and RX, which will be huge. So that could be quite bullish for the RX price, which is up 10% at the moment at 2.2 cents. So kind of cool. Good little place. It used to be over 11 cents, remember? But of course, rearrangements in the world. Now, the other one I want to talk about was we talked about the Vault. We talked about that. What was the other one I was talking about? Uranus. Now, Uranus is doing really well. So I did talk about Uranus about 12, 13 days ago. Highlighted that as a project speculative, but could be the next PDGC. I know some people laughed at that, but hey, look, it just launched. PDGC's been around for ages. I just don't know why people laugh at that, because this is kind of like steroids, and you got to give it a bit of a chance to breathe, right? Give it a bit of a chance to breathe. Now, this is the price at the moment. It bounced off 6 euros, 1640. It's now at 6 euros, almost 3,000. So that's a really good back in the mid range there. But more importantly, is the X28. So X28 ratio, look at that. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! New all-time high, 1.75. And the buy and burn's been turned off. And they're going to have a buy and burn party coming up very, very soon. So this is going to be exciting. And who knows how high this is going to get pumped on that buy and burn being up. But they turned it down, so they wanted a big burn party, and that is coming up. So that could be a nice little buy. Once not, just saying that you don't have to follow. But so far, so good. So good call there. And this is the first TitanX project over on Basechain, right? So from the dude and James. So they've been doing a great job there. And they're going to bring over 4 or 5 tokens. I think 4 tokens, let's say, over the base and link them all up to Element token and also Uranus there as well, the first one. And so it's going to create a lot more tax volume, a lot more volume there for tax. So very, very cool. So good stuff happening here on the old base. Now, I'll leave that chart there if you want to check it out. That is there. So not bad at all. All right, we got some nice smiley faces there from Sandy Beach. Probably the golden princess comment. So that's awesome. And Magnus is in the house as well. Hey, Superman, finally good to see you, Magnus. Hope you're doing well. Now, I've just got to keep track of time here because it's we're just over an hour. So yeah, that is the Uranus website there if you want to check that out. So big shout out to the dude and James, and of course the burn party coming up, which all things equal will pump the price. Subject to sellers, but there's really, it's really quite a diamond hand sort of community. So not bad happening, not good things happening there. All right, so I think have I covered everything? I think I did that I want to cover. Viber next, the next TitanX project launching 9 hours away. So that's coming up there as well. If you want to check that out, I'll give you the TitanX hub and you can check out that is coming up. That's going to benefit Tink Farm, and that would be the second project in addition to Bonfire at the top here, this number 32. So Viber next there going to benefit that. So you can check out tokenomics as well. There's the link there. Now, Magnus says something that we haven't commented on during the live stream, hoping for an RH live as soon as possible. Man. If he live streams, my goodness, that's going to cause quite the ripple. Let's see what happens here. That'd be pretty interesting. Let's see what he does there. All right, so that's pretty much it on that. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. It's been a fun time. Big shout out to Brian there for reminding about the chart there. Looks pretty good with that big page. Hope you guys enjoyed the new format. Now I'm going to be streaming again later on today, politics or sports or something like that, or some specialty topic. So look forward to that later on, and I'll see you then. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share the channel around, share, and of course definitely smash that bell for future videos. And of course, what else are we going to talk about? Oh, yes. If you want to join Discord, links in the description. Strategy Club, $35 a month. Great value there. We're passing intel through there all the time. Now, obviously, we don't control the markets, but we try to play probability and we try to find long-term value as well. So definitely in there. So sometimes you might have to ride through an up and down trend. Sometimes you might have to ride through a cycle. But we're in a pretty bullish cycle, I think, over 25, 26 does. But we have volatility in crypto. And we've got a new president in town. So just take that into account. The other one, of course, is if you want to join the Discord itself, that's $5 a month, only price of a coffee. Join up today. If you want to get into the PUSD ALGO stablecoin DeFi, first algorithmic stablecoin on Pulsechain, then the links in the video description. Get a 90% bonus, easy benefit there. And if you do $1,000 inclusive of that bonus, about $840 or so, plus the referral bonus, you'll get to 1,000, and that will open up to the second bonus, bonus X, up to 2X bonus there. So you're winning straight away there. Big news coming, of course, for the Signum Oracle, expected to launch imminently. And, of course, we're going to have an interview with the founder, and that may very well be tomorrow. We shall see if they've ironed out all those last little things. We'll be on for that. And, of course, have a great day, everybody. Catch you in the next live stream. Take care, and a big shout-out to moderators in the chat there. Appreciate what you guys do, and to all the new people joining the channel, really do appreciate that. Like I say, may very well be streaming to a fourth channel coming up. We're streaming to 3 channels at the moment, over 10,500 subscribers. So that might push us to up pretty close to 14,000 should we do that soon. So that might be coming up. We'll be jumping up there in growth. Zyber in the house there. Hey, Zyber, founder of Uranus. Hey, great to see you, Zyber. Big shout out to you. Oh, dang it. Did I just hit it at the end? You did. I'm about to wrap up. Hope you had a good time there, Zyber. Big shout out to you. All right, take care, everybody, and catch you in the next one. Bye for now.